Hello, beautiful beloveds. It's Veronica Fernmoss on day, I don't know what, totally lost track of time. No matter, I am here at beautiful natural bridge. Let's see if you can see this. This is a natural bridge that's formed here. And there are waterfalls and lava formations. And it's raining, it's misty, so the mosses are out and they're so happy. And it's unusual because it's normally a lot hotter here, which of course I would love to be naked right now. And I'm happy for my plant friends that prefer this weather way to the hot sun. And I was just talking to, I was gonna say a friend, but we haven't really been friends, have we? I was just talking to this being right here, which is an American holly as far as I can tell. And it's not a native, and it is considered a noxious weed. And I have been intimately involved with plants, gardening, and being a kind of an amateur naturalist for quite a while. So I have learned, my programming is to see this as basically an enemy. And so I pull baby hollies all the time. Like I was just at Blooming Heart and Jake, just so you know, I eradicated dozens of hollies from that land because I'm programmed to do that. And I just came across it just now and I started licking it because I'm thirsty. And this is a wonderful way to get water when you're thirsty and you're walking through the forest and you don't have your water bottle. The plants have collected water for you, so you just lick it. And it's so yummy. You're like French kissing the plants. Hello, that's an awesome thing to do. So I highly recommend it. And they are also hydrate you. See this little puddle? There's a puddle right here. I'm really gonna get it. Ow. Because I really am thirsty. The thing is normally, being Veronica Fernmoss, I suck moss, is how I normally receive my water from the forest. But this little holly just happened to be here, so I licked it, and when I did that, I was able to communicate with it more clearly because the moist tissue from my, mucous membrane from my lips touched its leaf. So that's communication right there. It's physical communication, and it's just as valid, if not more valid, than the verbal communication, because the verbal communication is a particular language. And so like if I don't know your language, if I don't speak Chinese, for example, we're limited to our communication. And we have other ways in which we communicate. Sign language, body language, sign language, touch, pitch, facial expression, like that. With plants, it's the same thing. We communicate with them, but not so much in English, through different symbols and forms of communication. So holly, what I know of holly is that it is a badass plant. What it communicates is it's very armored. It has very leathery leaves that are very spiky. So to touch this, when you brush up against holly, it hurts. It's a very strong plant. It's like blackberry. They're very powerful, badass, I would say, to anthropomorphize, warrior plants. What they also share in common is they don't have a predator or something that keeps it in check in Cascadia. Maybe in their natural habitats where they're natives, they do. The Himalayan blackberry, it's a lot colder in the Himalayas. They probably freeze over. In Cascadia, super mild. They're like over winter, they're growing in the winter. They're like on vacation here. This is the tropics for them. I feel like holly, or I'm guessing that holly, I don't remember where it's natively from, but it thrives here. So it would take over. That's the story I believe anyway. So that's why I I do try to sort of eradicate them. Eradicate is a really strong word. I set boundaries with them and say, you have to limit your number here because I am a steward of these lands, and I have a sense of what the harmonious balance is. And so, like, for example, the blueberries give us sustenance. I can't let a foreign holly invade and take away I'm protecting our native blueberries, right? Who wouldn't? And I just got a message from the holly that I wasn't communicating with them as fully as I could have because I was so armored around them. Like, I wouldn't stop and say, hey holly, how's it going? I would just go, you are an invader, pull, end of story. And today, because I slowed down and didn't see holly as the invader or the enemy, I licked it. Imagine seeing somebody that you consider to be your enemy, and instead of armoring against them, you went up to them and licked them. That is a very different response. That's exactly what dogs do with us all the time. What do? They come up to you, they nuzzle you, they sniff you, and they lick you. It opens you up. You're just like, come here, baby. Oh, yes, I love you, doggy, doggy. Oh, my God, give me some of this goodness. Right? We love dogs because we open to them in a very tactile way. I'm getting this feeling that everything is like that. Plants are definitely like that. The reason why I, Veronica Fernmoss, can talk to plants is because I have a very tactile relationship with them. I do not rely just on my analytical English-speaking brain to communicate with them. And the message that I just got from this holly being, who is holly is kind of like the kind of archetype that you see that's wearing a lot of black leather, a lot of tattoos, a lot of piercings. They're probably pretty muscular. Maybe they've been to prison. They might ride a Harley. They might be a hunter with a super motherfucking, badass truck, right? Big beefy truck. These hollies and blackberries are the plant version of that, kind of. They're armored and they're beautiful. And like in the case of the human archetype, they're sexy. It's the warrior. This plant is a warrior archetype in the plant kingdom. And what it just taught me just now, right now, is it's saying, hey, yes, I am armored. You're right, I am. I have really pokey things on my leaves. And you also armor around me. This is the first time you've stopped to say hello and lick me. And then I realized, wow, I do that with other humans too. I armor up around people. As progressive as I think I am, and as long as I've been working on this and wanting to be open-hearted and loving to all beings, this holly plant that has been my nemesis as a gardener just taught me a really big lesson. It mirrored to me where I armor up, where I judge, where when I see somebody that is really armored, instead of opening to them and just seeing through that through the superficial armoring, looking into that deeper level of their being. And that's definitely what we're here for, is to look more deeply into the depth of our being that looks beyond the surface area, beyond the armoring, the energetic armoring, and all the ways that that can take form. To look and feel beyond that into a deeper place. And whenever we do that, there's always beauty. We touch beauty. That's what's there. Yay! But you gotta get through the armoring. And the other person, there's no like getting through it with force. It doesn't work because force just begets more force. So the only way you can get through it is with vulnerability and with connection. And there's beauty in that. That's the beauty way. That is the beauty way. Following the connection. Appreciating instead of judging. Like saying, wow, these are some really sharp points you have on your leaf. You're really strong. I feel that you're really strong, instead of going, fucking noxious weed, rip you out from the earth. And how we do that with one another too. Like saying, wow, I see you. I see you. Instead of putting up the protection, that wall. And it can be really subtle sometimes. So that's my new mantra. Appreciation instead of judgment, and feeling into how beautiful it feels when I am coming from a place of connection. However it lands, that's what I'm putting out. And that feels like a direction that feels good to me. That feels like it would take me to a place, to a world of unity and connections and new allies, new ways of looking at the world, expansion, a whole new skill set. Yeah. Thank you to the forest. Thank you to the holly. Thank you to the river. Thank you to these volcanic rocks, which are, for Cascadia, they're New Earth. This is New Earth. For these remembrances, all these ways that we're remembering to operate in the world and navigate individually and collectively. Blessings. This is Veronica Fernmoss from the Rogue River.